ஸோ மகாராஜ் பேசுனதுக்கப்புறம் பேசுறது எப்படின்னா, சச்சின் டெண்டுல்கர் வந்து செஞ்சுரி அடிச்சதுக்கப்புறம் நியூ பேட்ஸ்மேன் வந்து ஃபீல்டில் போகிறச்சு எவ்வளோ நர்வஸாக இருப்போம் அந்த மாதிரி தான் நானும் போகிறேன். எனிவேஸ் ஐ வில் டூ மை பெஸ்ட். பர்த்ரஹரி சுவாமி என்ன சொல்கிறாருன்னா, ஹம்ச மத்தியே பகோ யதா, இன் த மிட்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் swans, in the midst of hamsas, there is a crane. So, the Mari, because hamsas extremely divine, that is why we say Paramahamsas. We refer all our sannyasis as Paramahamsas. So, in the midst of intellectuals like Maharaj and Hamsa's knowledge. Oh, wow. So, wow, absolutely. So, in the midst of, Paramahamsas like Maharaj, I'm like a crane. Anyways, Call of Duty, I will try to do my best. Now, generally, schools when I give lectures on AI, I ask my audience to have the liberty to ask any question anytime by raising their hands. Still, there is some hesitance, right? Students hesitate to ask questions. So, I've brought my, my employees, Kishore and Mahesh. They have come with a chocolate bag. So anybody who asks a question, right, irrespective of whether it is a silly question or an intellectual question, just like Maharaj told, the importance of asking why, right? We have to ask questions to better ourselves. The same way, any question you ask, I don't care whether it is, very, very simple or silly or very tough, right? Please ask a question and you will get your chocolate. And I want this session to be super interactive, right? Meaning, all of you have to interact with me, ask questions and participate. I don't want this to be a typical lecture and all of you taking notes and then, forgetting this after a couple of days. No, this should be a thought-provoking session and this must ignite some thoughts on how we can use AI or how you can start your own company based on what you can understand from this session. There's actually a very funny joke. Konja controversial joke da. Adan sollavan therilla. Anyways, with the disclaimer, I will go ahead. That is why you shouldn't be silent. I mean, silence is advantageous in certain situations and disadvantageous in certain situations. This is a joke wherein silence is advantageous, but number seminar vande it is not like that. Silence is not advantageous. All of you must interact. Enna there is this mother-in-law or மாமியார் இருக்காங்களாம். And she has 3 sons-in-laws. The first son-in-law is a doctor. ரெண்டாவது மாப்பிள்ள வந்து ஒரு engineer. மூணாவது மாப்பிள்ள வந்து ஒரு chartered accountant, ஒரு CA. She wanted to test the loyalty of her 3 sons-in-law. So என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா கடல்ல போய் குதிக்கிறாங்க. முதல் மாப்பிள்ள முன்னாடி குதிக்கிறாங்க. The first son-in-law is a doctor. மாமியார் குதிச்சிட்டாங்களே, மாமியாருக்கு ஸ்விம்மிங் தெரியாதே, உடனே போய் காப்பாத்திடுறாங்க. So the mother-in-law is very happy. மாமியார் ரொம்ப happy. மாப்பிள்ள வந்து எதுவுமே யோசிக்காம நம்மளுக்காக குதிச்சு காப்பாத்திடுறாரு. So she immediately gives him a Honda City car. மறுபடியும் என்ஜினியர் முன்னாடி குதிக்கிறாங்க. அண்ட் ஆனால் இந்த என்ஜினியர் வந்து யோசிக்கிறார், இந்த கேள்வியை காப்பாற்றணுமா? பட் கொஞ்ச நேரம் கழிச்சு anyway he jumps and saves her because there are some collateral benefits in the future. மாமியார் is happy but disappointed. கொஞ்சம் டிலே பண்ணாரு. Anyways, she gives him a bike. And this third son-in-law was a CA, a financially savvy guy. He knows statistics. He's looking at the pattern. First son-in-law got a car, second son-in-law got a bike, and now if I save, probably I'll get a cycle only. So he doesn't save the mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law passes away. A couple of days later, the third son-in-law is gifted a Mercedes-Benz by the father-in-law. So, staying silent and doing nothing was very advantageous for him. But this is not the situation. All of you must be super interactive and ask questions and, enjoy the session. That is what I want. Anyway, so going ahead to the seminar. Whenever we say AI, right, or typically a couple of years ago, when there was, when AI seminars were conducted, I've seen a lot of seminars in YouTube. They start with the question, how many of you have heard about AI? But we don't have to ask that question now because we are in the AI revolution and all of us are aware about, capabilities that AI has. Anyways, I will still ask you this question, a certain a fine-tuned question. What comes to your mind when I say artificial intelligence? Please. ChatGPT, perfect. Super, we'll have a round of applause for him. That's only for questions. Anyways, for answers also we'll go chocolates because you have a lot of chocolates. So yeah, you can give a chocolate for the one who answered. So I will ask this second question. Now this is a little tough question. Who knows the full form of Chat GPT other than the word chat? That's very obvious. Chat GPT ஓட full form என்ன? Specifica GPT ஓட full form என்ன? Time out, pa. No more chocolates for this question. So GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformers. At the end number, we will look at that in this session, right? Because I don't want to go surface level. I want to go a little deep. As Maharaj just told, we have to start from the abyss rather than the zenith. In this session, we will look at how AI works. Or how specifically how large language models work. See, AI is it's a broad term, right? There are LLMs, there is machine learning, there is deep learning. But the AI revolution which we mentioned in the past 2-3 years is with respect to large language models. That is products like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. See, நமக்கு machine learningலாம் ஆதி காலத்துல இருந்து இருக்கு. நீங்க கொஞ்சம் ரிசர்ச் பண்ணீங்களா தெரியும். HFTன்னு ஒன்று இருக்கு, high frequency trading. All these large banking companies will do automated trading. Stock marketல வந்து there is no a person sitting behind the computer who's doing trading. All tradings are being done by transactions are being done by machines. Not today, even a couple of decades ago. So machine learningலாம் ஆதி காலத்துல வந்துருச்சு. But இன்னைக்கு வந்து we are talking about AI because of the capabilities of large language models. So in this session, we will look at how large language model works. You should point here. So this is the business use case for AI. I typically, do such training seminars in companies so that I can find an enterprise use case for them and convert that into business, right? And this seminar is very, very close to my heart because the audience is a student audience, and I was a student just a couple of years ago. So this is really, really fun and amazing for me. So the business use case, as you can read, it's cost, speed, and accuracy, and other confidentiality. But whereas where I would focus is the point called confidentiality, which is reduce human touch. That is where the businesses today want to invest money in, because there are so many automation tools which offer the same thing, but AI can really automate the entire process rather than just automating a part of a process. That is called as the agentic AI, wherein AI themselves take an input, they take decisions, and they give the output, right? So there the confidentiality is super high because there's no human involved. So ChatGPT is literally a name of a product, like how Alto is a car of Maruti Suzuki. ChatGPT is a product of OpenAI. Perfect. So let me give a small introduction history of OpenAI. OpenAI was founded in the year 2015 as an NGO, not for profit organization. And then in the year 2018, they converted that into a for-profit organization, converting that into a startup by seeing the huge capabilities and use cases for AI. And it was founded by Elon Musk and Sam Altman. And they had come up with multiple products, right? And ChatGPT was not their first product. It's probably their 10th or 12th product. The initial products miserably failed, and only in the year 2019 they were able to come up with an interesting product called GPT-2, which was able to do simple translations, right? Tamil to Hindi, Hindi to English, wherein the translations were actually slightly accurate rather than Google Translate, wherein it doesn't look at any context, it just translates word to word, and it was able to understand the context of the sentence and translate it good. And since then, since 2019, the AI race has been on, and so many players have come into the field, and now we have major players like Google and Microsoft and Facebook. So Facebook oda romba famous ana or AI model irukku, Meta. Yeah, perfect, super. So what exactly is a large language model, right? How Alto is a car, ChatGPT is also a large language model. And large is just an adjective. Let's forget the word large. Language model. So what exactly is a language model? No? The word model, right? When we say model, typically when I went in a school in, I think it was in Kendriya Vidyalaya, when I asked, what do you think about models? உடனே சொன்னாங்க விதவிதமா நடப்பாங்க இல்லையா அந்த மாதிரி தான். இல்லை, in the context of AI, models do only one thing, that is they predict. What does it predict? It predicts language. We know a simple probability formula which all of us have learnt in class 5 or class 4 even. That is the probability, like the probability of heads or tails, right? So when we toss a coin in the air and catch it, the probability of heads is 1/2. That is the formula is the probability of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. So our favorable outcome is heads, which is 1. Total number of outcomes is heads and tails, which is 2. So it's 1/2. So similarly, in a similar scale, of course, not such a simple formula. Advanced formulas are being used for doing some calculations, and then they predict the words. And what exactly is large? The large is the number of parameters. Yeah. So now, what are parameters? Models பார்த்துட்டோம், language பார்த்துட்டோம், what are parameters? To explain parameters, I have a very simple example. Let us say I had the task of identifying whether a given image is an image of a rhinoceros or not. But the catch is, I have no clue how a rhinoceros looks like. But I have a team of 3 people. Let's say he's an expert who knows exactly how the horn of a rhinoceros looks like. And he is an expert in how the eye of a rhinoceros looks like. And someone from behind is an expert from how the mouth of a rhinoceros looks like. Each one of them do not know overall how a rhinoceros looks like. They're only experts in their particular images. So now what I will do is, I will give this image to each one of them, and they will look at that particular feature, right? The technical word is called feature. So he will look at the horns, and he will look at the eyes, and someone from the back will look at the mouth. Now I will ask them, hey, give me a confidence score. Look at this image and give me a percentage percentage score on how much this resembles the horn of a rhinoceros. Let's say he says 90%. He says 90%, and someone from behind says 90%. So everybody says, appa, 90% இது வந்து rhinoceros horn தான், 90% rhinoceros கண்ணு தான், இது 90% rhinoceros mouth தான். Now my responsibility is to find the right weightage, right? ஒரு rhinoceros உடைய most unique feature என்னது? Horn தான். So I have to give more weightage to his answer or his opinion. And then the eyes, I would say the eyes is pretty similar to even an elephant, right? ஒரு அளவுக்கு rhinoceros கண்ணு அந்த ஏரியாக்குள்ள வந்துருச்சு, right? The elephant, rhinoceros. Mouth made is pretty similar. It might be similar to other animals, but the horn is distinctive to this particular animal. So now my responsibility, so when I say my responsibility, I am a large language model, right? As a large language model, if I have to be correct, if I have to give accurate results close to 100%, I need to have the right weightage set up in me. So who sets up these weightages? The AI engineers, right? இப்போ class 10 mathematics நீங்கெல்லாம் எழுதிருப்பீங்க. All of you are B.Sc, B.Ca students, right? And there was this particular chapter called trigonometry, right? In class 10. I think it was I think it's asked for about 25 to 30 marks. Illa 40 marks, 25 marks irukum illaya, approximately 25 marks. Now if they if they decrease this 25 marks to 5 marks, will any of you study trigonometry? Or if they increase this to 70 marks, I think the passing percentage will take a hit. So now the government has found the right break-even point. Okay, 25 marks vecha ivlo percentage varudhu, and students are also finding it okay to deal with the subject. Similarly, each and every time, through a trial and error, through a huge laborious process, I will put weightage for horn as 10%, and for eye and mouth I'll give 50 and 40, and then I'll keep trying multiple percentage, multiple weightages until I reach the optimum percentage, which is 70, 15 and 15. You may say horn dana most important, why can't you keep 99 to horn and 0.5 to 0.5? illa na 99.5 try panni, the accuracy results was not near 100%. Only in 70, 15, and 15, the accuracy level was 100% or near 100%. So this entire process is a trial and error process, which also was done by a machine. And that is the infrastructure, which is the GPUs, right? GPU full form yada theriyuma? Chocolate confirm sonna. ரொம்ப simple question. Come on. Generative. Graphical process outsourcing. Okay, process unit. Okay, great. So நமக்கு எல்லாரும் ஒரு சின்ன டவுட் வரும். இந்த ஏஐ எல்லாம் திடீர்னு வந்துச்சு, like in the past 3-4 years, right? What happened to a couple of years ago, couple of decades ago? You may not actually know this, but the word artificial intelligence was coined in the year 1956. இது இப்போ புதுசா வந்த விஷயம் இல்ல அது. பட் இன்னைக்கு தான் அது வந்து பிரசித்தமா எல்லாரும் அதை பத்தி பேசுறாங்க. ஏன்னா இன்னைக்கு தான் we have the infrastructure. Previously, even I think so, even IBM had this huge machine wherein the storage was only a couple of GBs, right? Probably 5 GB or 10 GB. We didn't have the infrastructure, right? We didn't have the infrastructure to run these programs. Today, now that our infrastructures have improved a lot, we are able to run these programs. The mathematics behind how AI works அப்பவே கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டாங்க. See, இப்போ AI வந்து இப்போ திடீர்னு பூம் ஆயிருக்கே, பெரிய இனோவேஷன் நோபல் பிரைஸ் ஒன்றும் காணுமே, ஏன்னா அந்த மாதிரி இல்லை. இட்ஸ் நாட் லைக் சம் ஹியூஜ் இனோவேஷன் ஹேப்பன்ட் அண்ட் நோபல் பிரைஸ் வாஸ் கிவன். அந்த மாதிரிலாம் நடக்கல. The mathematics behind how these things work has been derived a couple of centuries ago, right? And அதை ரன் பண்ணக்கூடிய கேப்பபிலிட்டி நமக்கு இன்னைக்கு தான் இருக்கு, right? So the high level difference between ML and LLM wanted to show you. Machine learning வந்து ரொம்ப பல வருஷமா இருக்கு. That is, we have all these software programs which we use in our day-to-day life. Gmail வந்து if we write thanks and regards, thanks and போட்ட உடனே அதுவே and regards and it will fill it up. So all these things are machine learning algorithms which has been trained over data for specific use cases. So the major ice-breaking or game-changing point, the difference between an ML and AI in two different parameters or two different important points is with respect to data and context. Data பொறுத்தவரை machine learning வந்து it is big, but it is use case specific, right? இப்போ நம்ம ட்ரேடிங்லாம் பண்றோம்னா ட்ரேடிங் டேட்டா கொடுத்து we will say, okay, which is the best stock today, which stock should I buy this stock or should I sell this stock? அந்த மாதிரியான யூஸ் கேஸ் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா இருக்கு. பட் இஃப் யூ லுக் அட் லார்ஜ் லாங்குவேஜ் மாடல், தேர் ஆர் சூப்பர் ஹியூஜ், ரைட்? இப்போ ஒரு சின்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள் தரேன். In 2018, Google released the then versatile AI called BERT, B-E-R-T, bidirectional encoders representations from transformers. அப்போ வந்து it had 160 million parameters. To put that into perspective, 160 million seconds is about 12 to 13 days. Okay. Today, ChatGPT 4o, the O1 is the latest one, 4o and O1 are trained in over 1 trillion parameters. So I want to ask this question. 160 million seconds வந்து 13 நாள்னா 1 trillion seconds எவ்வளோ டேஸாக இருக்கும்? You can take a wild guess. How many days or weeks would 1 trillion seconds be? I want to show the exponential growth we have had since year 2018. Take a wild guess. It doesn't have to be right. See, hint and it can't go below 13 days, right? It has to be more than 13 days. 26 days. Okay, it is more than 26 days. Come on, faster because there are so many other slides which I want to show you. 34 days. More. And the area and the league, it is in number of years. 40 years. No, way more. Wow, I think we have a Google expert here. So you're absolutely correct. So it's about 32,000 years. So in 2018 we were in about 12 days, and today we are at 32,000 years. That is the exponential growth which we have had in the number of parameters, right? Or the number of these tiny variable datas which make sure the AI is super smart, right? இப்போ இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள்ல In this example, we had 3 parameters. So with these parameters, we are able to find out whether this is an image of a rhinoceros or not. Adhe madri, for every single chat which you give, the data goes through 1 trillion parameters, right? Whether this is the correct grammar, correct grammar illna, we have to output நம்ம கரெக்டாக கொடுக்கணும், spelling mistake இருக்கா, இந்த மாதிரி பல விதமான ஒரு number of parameters it goes through and it gives the output. That's how it is smart. But smarter இருந்தா மட்டும் போதாது, right? You need to have the emotional quotient, right? EQ னு சொல்லுவாங்க. The IQ is not just enough. You need to be, you need to be a person who has the EQ as well, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, who understands the context and situations and then speak with respecting to that. Angada we have the next important data point, which is the context. So the next important point, which is the the Agmark AI, Agmark LLM, that is the context. So only large language models have the ability to understand the context, right? Whereas MLs do not have, right? They do have, but of course it is not at all in comparison with LLMs. So basically LLM eppadi நம்ம classify பண்றச்சே, LLM is data plus context, whereas ML is just little data, huge data plus good context, and this is little data plus no context. This is important now. If I ask you a question, Mr. Sachin is a great sportsman at what sport? All of you will answer cricket, because you can understand the question and you also know the answer. You also have the data. Suppose I ask you, Mr. Ganesh is a sportsman at what sport? You might not be able to answer. Even though you understand the question, you don't know. So உங்களுக்கு training data illa. That is why you are not able to answer. But you understand the question, you have the context. So that is where we have these large language models which have pre-trained foundation models. So when I said chat GPT, generative pre-trained models, so that is a pre-trained data upon which we can add our own data to make our to make these LLMs super smart and use it in the enterprise use cases. For example, we are working with some Indian banks for invoice processing, and also a POC is going on for check processing. The existing process is basically outsourcing the rudimentary checks on these checks, whether the amount of words, amount in numbers, whether they tally or not, whether there's a date, if there's a date, whether it is within 3 months period, it should not be future dated, whether there's an existence of a check or existence of a signature. So in the madriyana ella checking vandu or BPO is doing manually. There's one screen and then the worker is inputting the extracting the data and uploading it in the other screen. Now we have trained the very same LLM, right? The same pre-trained chat GPT with our data, and now we are able to completely automate this process. Whereas if you directly use chat GPT, you wouldn't be able to do it, because it is only a pre-trained foundation model. So going ahead, of course, we just saw all these parameters, etc. Okay. So we have some interesting types of parameters which I will go through in just a couple of next slides. So I will explain the rules of the game, right? Because I will show the video only once. So this is a video wherein 2 teams will be passing on the ball to each other. There is a black team wearing black color uniform, and there's a white team wearing white color uniform. The rule is you have to count the number of times people wearing white pass the ball to each other. So when white player passes the ball to white, it is counted. But white to black or black to white or black to black, they are not counted. Only white to white is counted. Yeah, so that is the rule of the game, and you have to correctly identify the number of passes. Please play. Please focus only on the white team, right? Pause. Okay. So, how many of you got 15? You can raise your hand. Okay, so a clap for all of you. But this is not the game. This is just a distraction. The real game is okay. So before I ask this question, I want all of you to close your eyes so that you don't fall into peer pressure of what other guys are answering. And right, so all of you close your eyes, and I'll ask this question. Please raise your hand if you saw something weird. No, please don't look. So raise your hand if you saw something weird. I mean, the game itself is pretty weird, but something really, really weird. Please raise your hand. Okay, one, and the other guy, he's raising his hand. Be confident. It's just a game. அவ்வளவுதான். So one saw and two. Okay, only one. Only one student saw something weird. So actually, he's the winner of the game. So you can open your eyes. Actually, a gorilla came in between and thumped its chest. You can play the video. So all of you are super busy in counting the number of balls and missed the elephant in the room. Did you see the gorilla? வந்து சும்மா போல just thumb பண்ணிட்டு போயிருக்கு. So you have to catch up because we're going to go technical now. Anyway, so moving on. So moving on to the technical points of how AI works or how large language model works. So we have a doubt. Okay, what exactly is an LLM? ஒரு வீடியோ வந்து MP4, ஆடியோ வந்து ஒரு MP3, ரைட்? ஒரு டாக்குமெண்ட் வந்து PDF இருக்கலாம், .docx இருக்கலாம், XLSX இருக்கலாம். அந்த மாதிரி there are some formats, so we understand what exactly it is. But what exactly is LLM? LLM is stored in the format of .gguf, which is GPT generated unified format. So it is also a file which you can download, and the AI which we have in our WhatsApp, which is Meta, is about 238 GB. So we can download that particular LLM into our computer. So it will probably take about a couple of hours and we can download. But the issue is you won't be able to run unless you have a very, very powerful GPU. So you can download them, and when you download them, they get downloaded in a format called gguf. And then, So the process of how LLM works in a nutshell. The very first process is input. So the very first process is input. The next process is something called as tokenization, right? So what exactly is tokenization? We can see. See, tokenization is extremely important concept in LLMs because they are the units of measurement. நம்ம வந்து தக்காளியை வந்து கிலோ கணக்கில் வாங்குறோம், இல்லை ரைஸ் வந்து மூட்டை கணக்கில் வாங்குறோம். அந்த மாதிரி ஏலேருந்து என்ன காஸ்ட்? See this 2,000 per month or $20 per month, that is a subscription for it's just a teaser, it's a trailer, அவ்வளோதான். Whereas enterprise use case porche, when we connect with their API and when we use large scale, for example, for check processing, we have to process about 4 lakh checks a day. And when we process so many images per day, when we use these underlying technology, which is the AI models, we have to pay them. So on what basis are we paying them? Of course, I'm not paying them 2,000 per month. No, way more than that. For each image, I think the cost in Gemini is about 1 rupee, right? 80 paise to 1 rupee. And how exactly are these prices based out of? They are based out of tokens. So the unit of measurement for any LLM, irrespective of ChatGPT, Gemini, or open source language models like Llama and other LLMs, are tokens. They charge based on the number of tokens. So each word which we send is dissected into tokens. In ChatGPT, 3 characters are 1 token. When I say hi, hello, how are you? How many tokens are there? 3 characters, 1 token. Hi, hello, how are you? How many tokens are there? 3 characters is 1 token. 5. Hi, hello, how are you? 5 words is good, but hello has more than 3 characters, so that will be distributed. So there are 6 tokens in this particular word, or in this particular sentence. So hi is only 2 characters, so it is 1 token. Hello is more than 3, so hello will become 2 tokens. How, HOW is only 3, that's 1 token. ARE, YOU, these are only three characters. So basically, whatever data which we send is dissected into 3 characters based tokens. For ChatGPT it is 3, for other LLMs it differs, right? For Gemini it is 4, for Claude it is 5, but basically in the vicinity of about 2 to 6. Because they have to run their GPUs based on these predefined sets of tokenization. Images are tokenized pixel wise. So each pixel, right, if you send a HD, that's 1080 into 920 or 1920. Each pixel is sent to the model, and it tries to identify what exactly is there based on our prompt. For example, if we send an invoice or check, we don't just send an invoice. We don't just send the image. We also send the prompt. Hey, look at, identify the, or extract the data, extract the numbers, extract the words, specifically extract the payee or the amount in words, etc. So it goes and looks at each pixel, whether this data is there, and then correlates with other pixels, whether overall, when we put the puzzle together, whether it is there. So basically, for images, it goes pixel by pixel. So 3 to 4 characters is about 1 token. And complex words like fantastically or very long words are multiple tokens. So basically, the very first process is dissecting words into multiple tokens. So coming back to how AI works. So, இப்போ நீங்கள் பார்த்தாலே உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், டோக்கனைசேஷன்னா டெக்ஸ்ட் இஸ் ஸ்பிளிட் இன்டு டோக்கன்ஸ், அவ்வளோதான். எல்லாமே சிம்பிளாக ஆக்குறாங்க. அடுத்தது வந்து tokens is converting them into vectors. Okay, this is a very technical term, but basically what happens is each and every token is taken or is plotted in a high dimensional space to understand the meaning, because machines don't understand the meaning of words. When we say love, machine love na enna theriyadu. But what the machine can do is, when you give multiple words based on pre-trained data, they can find whether these words are linked to the other words or not. When I say love, the machine will say, based on pre-trained data, Lord Krishna is near to the word love. So enna aguduna, every single token is plotted in a high dimensional space. For example, all of us have studied how XY graph, Cartesian planes பார்த்திருப்போம். X axis, Y axis இருக்கு. கொஞ்சம் அட்வான்ஸ்னா 3 dimensions, X, Y, length, breadth and height. Now to explain this in a simple, through a simple example, let me ask this question. King minus man plus woman is equal to what? I think this is a logical reasoning question which people ask in interviews as well, or CAT exams and other things. So king minus man plus woman is equal to, please raise your hand and answer. Queen. Someone said queen. So queen is the correct answer, and yeah, of course. So how did he say queen? So அதை expand பண்ணனும்னா கிங்னா என்ன? ராயல்னஸ் plus man, right? So ராயல்னஸ் plus man minus man. So now வெறும் ராயல்னஸ் தான். ராயல்னஸ் plus woman னா என்னது? Queen. So this is calculating at a 2-dimensional space. That is, royalness is one axis and gender is one axis, right? Man and woman. Now, if you do the same calculations to understand how words are connected to each word or connected to each words, we will have to use more dimensions, right? இப்போ வந்து ஒரு மூவியை நம்ம வந்து கிளாஸிஃபை பண்ணுறோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். Whether for example, we will have 3 classifiers. Whether a movie whether it is hit or flop, overall hit or flop, songs வந்து hit or flop, story வந்து hit or flop, right? இப்போ வந்து ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்கு வந்து let me say Pushpa 2, overall hit or flop? Flop? Hit or flop? Hit. See, 1600 crores பண்ணிட்டான், so it is a hit. Songs வருவோம். Songs வந்து hit or flop? You have to say. Okay. How many of you say it's a hit? Songs, overall songs are great. You can raise your hand. Okay, so songs flop. Okay, all of you feel songs as a flop. So in one dimension or in one axis, in a 3, see, let us understand with having this diagram geometry in our brain. There are 3 axes. Let's say the x-axis is overall hit or flop. So வந்து hit na 1, flop na -1, right? So +1 ல இருக்கு. இப்போ songs வந்து y-axis, flop ன்ட்டேங்க, அங்க வந்து -1. Story வந்து hit or flop? Okay, those who feel it's a hit, please raise your hand. Story is a hit or flop? என்னப்பா இவ்வளோ ஹேட்ரடா புஷ்பா 2க்கு? After 1.5 years, after watching Rocketry, I generally don't go watch movies, but Rocketry kapram Pushpa 2 was the movie which I went and watched in theater, and it was really good. Anyways, I don't know why many people hate. So overall வந்து hit, songs flop, storyயும் flop. இந்த மாதிரி if we plot many movies, right? If we plot many movies, let's say we plot 1,000 movies, and then you say, hey, I like movies like Pushpa 2, can you suggest similar movies? அப்ப வந்து ஒருத்தர் கேட்க வேண்டாம். You don't have to go to movie buff and ask, is there any movies similar to Pushpa 2? Because we are relied on him. But when we plot the movies in 3 dimensions, or forget 3 dimensions, let us say we plot them in 10 dimensions. Review of Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is a very famous movie rater. Rotten Tomatoes review, அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த ப்ளூ சட்டை சாருடைய ரிவ்யூ, இஸ் a very famous YouTuber. அந்த மாதிரி பலவிதமான டேட்டா பாயிண்ட்ஸ் கலெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு, let's say instead of 3 dimensions we plot them in hundreds of dimensions, right? ChatGPT plots them in 12,888 dimensions specifically, and then input thousands of movies. So in the process of inputting, plotting them, that is manual, ரைட்? இப்போ நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சொல்றச்சே ஒரு ரைனோசரஸ் வந்து வெயிட்டேஜ் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது வந்து ஆட்டோமேட்டட். That process is called as back propagation, right? Again, it will go in order to find the optimum 100% near accuracy. It is an automated system. But when we want to create a new LLM, suppose you say, I want to defeat ChatGPT today. நாளைக்கு நான் கம்பெனி ஆரம்பிச்சு ChatGPT விட ஒரு பெட்டரான LLM எனக்கு கிரியேட் பண்ணணும். What should I do? What is the very first step? You would have a huge team. Manual team who are experts in multiple fields, in all fields basically, right? And then manually input these plots. So Pushpa 2க்கு வந்து hit or flop நீங்க சொல்றீங்க. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டோக்கனுக்கும் they have done that huge R&D exercise. That is, and when they give the trained model, that is called as a pre-trained model. So generative pre-trained transformers na, it is pre-trained with all these data which has been manually added. And of course, it has the ability to go and search the internet and then do a sentiment analysis and update itself. But basically, this is a manual process. Idhula enna advantage na, tomorrow if I want to see a movie like Pushpa 2, I can the machine can say, okay, 1,000 movies have been trained in this particular 3-dimensional space or a 100-dimensional space. These are the movies which are similar. Part la is similar, story la is similar, where unnoru aspect la adu is similar. So overall it will give me it will give me an output. So basically the second process is embeddings. What happens is when we give a sentence, all tokens are plotted in their predefined plot. இப்போ நம்ம வந்து ஒரு பாயிண்டோட அட்ரஸ் சொல்லணும்னா x, y, right? We say abscissa and other thing is ordinate. Oh, superb. He's very good in maths. Amazing. So x is called abscissa and y is called ordinate, and basically that is the address of the point. அதே மாதிரி each token has an address, predefined address, but there are 12,888 accesses. So 2, 3, 4 and it will go till instead of 2,3 or 5,4, it will go till it will start from the first one to the 12,888th point. So when we give a sentence, each token is first plotted in their original place, and then the next process is the positional encoding. Why positional encoding? Basically giving address to each tokens. நீங்கள் வந்து மெஷின் லேர்னிங் படிச்சிருப்பீங்க, நியூரல் நெட்வொர்க்ஸ் பற்றி படிச்சிருப்பீங்க. அதில் ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான நியூரல் நெட்வொர்க் இருக்குது, RNN பேர், ரெக்கரண்ட் நியூரல் நெட்வொர்க்ஸ். ஸோ தே ஆர் யூஸ் ஃபார் டிரான்ஸ்லேஷன். வாட் எக்ஸாக்ட்லி இஸ் ரெக்கரண்ட் நியூரல் நெட்வொர்க்? The basic premise behind RNN is that it processes token by token or word by word. So it doesn't do parallel processing. So it is very, very slow. Whereas LLMs process parallelly. So when we give 100-worded sentence, all the tokens are parallelly sent to the machines to process. So now the AI doesn't know என்ன இது எங்க இருக்குன்னு. ஸோ இப்போ வந்து I love him பதிலாக he loves her, அது மீனிங்கே வேற இல்லையா? ஸோ now the AI has to know which word is in which position. So the very first process is tokenization, then embedding, and the third process is giving the address or giving the index for each and every token. Okay, this is the first token. the college, right? So the college is the second token. And the mother it gives the positional encoding. So this is just some ranking system. Positional information is added to the embeddings. The third one is the அதான் கல்யாணத்துல முகூர்த்தம் தாலி கட்டுறது ரொம்ப இது. அதே மாதிரி எல்எல்எம்ல முக்கியமான ப்ராசஸ், எல்லா ப்ராசஸையும் ஸ்கிப் பண்ணிடலாம், ஆனால் முக்கியமான ப்ராசஸ் இது இல்லைன்னா மேரேஜே ஆகாது. அந்த மாதிரியான ப்ராசஸ் தான் செல்ஃப் அட்டென்ஷன். ஸோ அதான் வாண்ட் டு கோ பேக் அண்ட் ஷோ யூ a very, very interesting research paper which basically changed the course of the AI world and gave birth to LLMs, which is the paper called Attention is All You Need. This paper was released in the year 2017. In the paper, they had discovered a new technology called as the transformers. So now coming back, ChatGPT is generative pre-trained transformers. So now ChatGPT or any LLM for that matter is based on a new technology or a new type of neural network. நம்ம வந்து image processing க்கு ஆதிகால neural network இருக்கு. What is the neural network? CNN full form யாருக்கு தெரியுமா? CNN, convolutional neural network. So for translation we have RNN. So we have different types of neural networks. And transformers is a new technology which was given birth in the year 2017. And transformers ku a special ana feature irukku. Enna feature na it can give attention. So enna aguduna basically first the text goes in and then it finds a context, right? After finding context it finds the positions. Now context வந்து தெரிஞ்சு பிரயோஜனம் இல்லையா? அதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு கொஸ்டின் கேட்டேன். கணேஷ் இஸ் a great sportsman at what sport? You had the context. ஆனால் ஆன்சர் தெரில. இப்போ டீச்சர் கேள்வி கேட்கறச்சே புரியுது சார், ஆனால் ஆன்சர் தெரில, என்ன பண்ணுறது? அது மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு வந்து கான்டெக்ட் தெரியுது ஆனால் ஆன்சர் தெரியல. ஸோ அங்கே தான் யூ நீட் தி ட்ரெயினிங் டேட்டா. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் வேர் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்மர் இஸ் a technology which connects the context and the training data. ஸோ இதில் வந்து நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா parameters ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சொல்லியிருப்பேன், ஆனால் இங்கே parameters வரல. எங்கே parameters வருதுன்னா it is coming the fourth process which is the self attention, all the embedding. So what happens is if let us say there is a sentence called hit the light switch and let us plot the word light. Or simplicity ki let's say there are only 5 dimensions. Light ku vandu brightness is one dimension, color is one dimension, and then weight is one dimension. But light as a feather na weight into a dimension clear that will be tuned. If so, based on the surrounding tokens, the plots will be replotted. Or first solrache it is going in the predefined space, and then based on the surrounding tokens in the same 12,888 spaces, the same tokens are replotted. And now first point inga irukku, ana meaning of the surrounding words வேற எங்கேயோ இருக்கு, so it goes here. And then again to another process goes here. So at the end of the day, when you look at the overall image, ipo 3-dimensional space na, when we can go to some website and plot the points in 3-dimensional space. And madri let's say we have a software to plot all these to plot in 12,888 dimensions, we can see the point moving. Okay, first inga irundhu aarambikarache, now based on the surrounding sentence and previous memory it has now moved here. So now it is able to understand the context based on the surrounding words. So that context plus data, it goes to 96 layers. So and the process is self attention. And of course the output is output embedding. So at the end of the கடைசியில வந்து 96 times வந்து லேயர்ல போனதுக்கு அப்புறம் கடைசியா இந்த டோக்கன் எங்க பிளாட் ஆயிருக்கு, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இங்க இருந்தது, after 96 times of replotting it has gone here. So that is the final output. Again this output goes through tokenization again for giving the output. என்ன இப்போ வந்து அவுட்புட் வந்து ஹெலோன்ற வேர்டு வந்து நமக்கு கொடுக்குது, பட் we can understand only if it is completely called hello. டோக்கனா கொடுத்தா HELன்னு வரும், அப்புறம் LOன்னு வரும், we won't understand. So now it has to restitched. Initially it was sliced, now again it will be restitched and it will give the output. Of course the economics of AI, right, that is based on the input and output. So each time we send, right, each time when we send, the tokenization happens, and of course at the end of the process again tokenization happens. So the AI companies charges us based on the amount of data we send, amount of data we get, right? And there are basically there are two modes of AI or LLM with respect to pricing. which is open source and proprietary. Proprietary na basically companies which are doing for profit, like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And open source are basically companies who have hosted their LLMs free of cost in open source websites like Hugging Face, Olama, etc., wherein you can go and download them even today. In fact, in the second session, we'll be looking at how to download these things and have the AI power in your in the tip of your finger. ஸோ அதில் என்ன பேசிக் டிஃப்ரென்ஸ்னா ப்ரொப்ரேட்டரி எல்எல்எம்ஸ் ஃபிக்ஸட் காஸ்ட்டே கிடையாது. நம்ம வந்து பேமெண்ட் யூசேஜ் பேஸ் தான். பிகாஸ் வி டோன்ட் பே ChatGPT தி காஸ்ட் ஆஃப் தியர் சர்வீஸ். We only pay based on usage. But when we download the LLMs in our computer, there is no variable cost. There is only fixed cost. We need to have really great GPUs. We need to have really great systems. We need to have coolers for the GPUs. And the மாதிரியான ஒரு basic difference, right? So there is no fixed cost here. There is fixed cost in the next one. So since the payment is based on number of tokens, right? Then we need to make sure our prompt is really good, right? To see how many tokens. Since the costing is based on number of tokens, we need to ask the right questions in the right manner. We should not ஒரு question ரொம்ப லாங்கா கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. ஷார்ட்டாக கொடுத்து which is the best way wherein we can give the output so that we can restrict the amount of data which we give and which we get so that the overall cost is cheap. அதுக்கு what we do, that is why we use prompt engineering, right? So by effective prompting, we'll be able to reduce the number of irrelevant stuff. Because each time when we prompt and let's say we don't get the desired output, again we'll prompt. அதுக்கு மறுபடியும் ஒரு cost. Of course, if we use ChatGPT directly, we won't have that. When we use the API mode, for each and every API call, we have to pay. There is no free tier. Directa ஒரு டோக்கன்னா ஒரு டோக்கனுக்கு ₹1. அதுவும் so $5 for 10 lakh tokens, right? And of course for output it is $15. So overall ஒரு 10 லட்சம் tokens, 10 லட்சம் tokens ன்றது it is about 7 lakh words. 7 lakh words process பண்ணனும்னா the cost is $20. So it seems a little cheap, but of course there are so many other things at play. But basically it is quite cheap and the prices have been dropping ever since. So the cost trends பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வந்து ஆரம்பிக்கிறச்சே it was super costly. Now now that so many people are funding, right? So suddenly this research lab project became a very big idea and all US based and global venture capital companies wanted to invest and they invested huge funds. They've invested about $150 billion in OpenAI. Each $1 billion is about 8,500 crores. ஒரு $1 billion வந்து 8,500 crores. அந்த மாதிரி $150 billion they've invested and because of all those investment, the overall cost for the end user is dropping each and every week. And there's a price cutting war going on between Gemini and ChatGPT as we speak. But Google is not able to give a quality output as much as ChatGPT is able to give. But of course, he's able to defeat them in the pricing. So if you have a very simple use case and when you go to the market, which LLM should I choose? Everybody chooses Google. Only for complex use cases, the people end up choosing OpenAI because they give the more quality output. So these are the cost trends and overview of AI applications. So when we look at enterprise use cases, right now that we have understood how it works, your use case in image பொறுத்தவரை we can understand images and all those things. So what exactly is the other type of use cases? One is talking to data. Previously the word digitization had a different meaning. That is உங்களுடைய வந்து சர்டிஃபிகேட்ஸ் இருக்கு, ஸ்கேன் பண்ணி க்ளவுட்ல போட்டீங்க, அதுதான் டிஜிட்டைசேஷன். எல்லாம் ஸ்கேன் பண்ணியாச்சா, க்ளவுட்ல போட்டாச்சா, அதுதான் டிஜிட்டைஸ், தட்ஸ் இட் அப்படின்னு போட்டு கொடுத்துருவாங்க. பட் நவ் தி வேர்ட் digitization is transforming. Only when you're able to talk to your data, it is called digitization. For example, let's say you want to, how many of you remember your class 10 marks, not your board exam, your semester exams, subject wise? Nobody remembers. All pass ah? எப்போ கோவிட் கும்பலானீங்களா? ஆல் பாஸ்ன்றீங்க? Huh? I mean, I thought all of you were COVID batch, class 10, class 12 COVID batch. Anyways, when he said all passed, right? I mean, because I am COVID batch, class 12. I did my 12th twice, not because I scored less, but because out of curiosity, I did my 12th once in commerce and again in science because I wanted to, go into the science area as well. So once I was an all pass student, of course, the next one I wrote. Anyways, the other use case is important use case is, I would say, the ability to read data. இன்னைக்கு வந்து you want to know how many marks did I score in class 10 maths. You have to go to your cloud account and then manually look and save. But if AI can go do that for me, that would be great. So that is what we are looking at. The ability to go and talk to data. For example, I'm doing consulting for EID Parry Sugar for a proof of concept for suggesting them which content to broadcast in their TV. They have a television network. இப்போ பொங்கல் வருது, பொங்கலில் வந்து நிறைய பொங்கல் வந்தோடனே ஒரு பொங்கல் பற்றி ஒரு சினிமா பாட்டு போடணும். நிறைய சினிமா பாட்டு இருக்குது பொங்கலை பற்றி. ஆனால் என்ன பாட்டை போடணுன்றது மேனுவலாக they are choosing. Now if AI can go and see, right, based on the today's இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற நிலவரத்தை பேஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு ப்ராப்பரான பொங்கல் பாட்டு அதுவே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக சூஸ் பண்ண முடியும்னா, that is what is transforming this industry. The other use case is talking to your data, which is a huge industry. And some important AI tools. I know all of you will be interested to use AI for your small scale usage. So you can use ChatGPT, Gemini for Excel and other stuff. And Pop AI is a very interesting tool for making PPTs and interesting documentations. And of course, these are all the others. The other AI tools are typically for small businessmen to do their marketing. Today, content creation is completely super easy. Or a click of a button, you're able to do everything, right? Okay, make a poster for me, generate an image. So all those things. So these are similar AI tools in video for making ads and all those things. And yes, thank you. And please let me know if you have any questions. I have a lot of chocolates with me. Yaru onnu pesa kelvi kekala. Thank you. So we'll have a Q&A for 5 minutes and then we can at least 10 questions. So yeah. So whoever has a question, please come to the stage and ask the question so that others also can understand and know your question. Okay. So we will be giving the mic to you. Please raise your hand and we can give the mic to you. If you don't ask questions, I will randomly say a roll number and you have to stand up and ask a question. Mandatorily.
ஹலோ அச்சா, இந்த டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்மர் பார்த்தீங்கல்ல, ஜிபிடியில் வந்து 3 வார்த்தையில் ஒரு வார்த்தை டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்மர். அந்த டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்மர் யார் கண்டுபிடிச்சா தெரியுமா? ஒரு இந்தியன் தான்ப்பா, வாஸ்வானி. He was a Google employee. He completely revolutionized this technology with his invention. அவனும் உங்களை மாதிரி தான் ஏதோ ஒரு காலேஜில் படித்து ஏதோ ஒரு இன்ஸ்டியூட்டில் பெரியா வந்து now finally he made a internationally renowned contribution. இது மாதிரி Indians are there everywhere. நமக்கே தெரியாமல் they are lying in every rat holes and potholes. But see, நீங்கள் வந்து அவர் திரும்ப சொல்லிகிட்டே இருந்தார், கேள்வி கேட்டால் சாக்லேட் கொடுப்பேன்னு. But don't you think that it is a challenge to ask a question? It's very surprising that you guys are falling out on this particular point. Why is it? See, this is another why. Why is it that you're not able to ask a question? I get back to my own presentation. Why is it that there's so much of noise during the presentation? You are being completely distracted, not even able to spot the gorilla. With my one eye closed, I spotted the gorilla. But you see, these are all the falling backs. You should ask now the questions why. 5 times you ask this question to yourself, why you are not able to ask questions, why you are not able to spot the gorilla, why you are not able to be attentive. See, in every little thing you will have to put this introspective questioning of why. I don't want to make another presentation, but yeah, this is question time.
So, sir, I have a question.
Yes.
You said there are multiple levels of vectors and in which the tokens are distributed.
Correct. They're plotted.
Are plotted.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, which is more important? Accurate tokens that are plotted once or a mass of tokens that give a level of accuracy?
Wow, that's a brilliant question. And I mean, first of all, it's a brilliant question. That question has that is the reason why a new concept of AI is being born, which is LCMs, large concept models. So last week, Facebook came up with a new research paper. I mean, as groundbreaking as attention is all you need, called as large concept models. So to answer your question, why can't we plot it accurately in the first place? So we can't do that because the way in which AI works is whenever we give an input text, each and every token is parallelly processed. When I say parallelly processed, they are parallelly plotted. So when they are parallelly plotted, they don't know which word is or which word was before or which word is next. So because the surrounding words change the meaning. So initially they're plotted in their predefined space. And for example, your roll number might be 10, and because your roll number is 10, you have to sit in one particular place during examination during college years. But sometimes they will change it based on the availability of rooms and all those things. So similarly, each and every token has its own address, the initial address, and then it goes through, it changes its address about 96 times based on the type of LLM, etc. ChatGPT has 96 layers of multi-head transformers, wherein each token is plotted 96 times again and again based on the surrounding data. And that is what makes the AI really smart, because Google Translate does word by word. That is, based on pre-trained plot, and then again finds, the respective translation. It doesn't look at the surrounding words that much. So to answer that, it is very much required to do a trial and error of plotting them again and again, and accurate plotting of once won't work, because that is how basic algorithms are. So basic algorithms are good in specific use cases. Right? For example, Gmail, when you put thanks and regards, okay, thanks and regards will automatically fill. So adukvena we can, decrease the number of plotting, decrease the number of dimensions. But for large language model, which is thriving because it has the ability to understand the context, right? When you show difference between ML and LLM, ML க்கு வந்து இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ் இல்லை, தி ஜென்ரல் ரீசனிங் கேபிலிட்டி அதுக்கு இல்லை. இன்னைக்கு வந்து ஜென்ரல் ரீசனிங் எல்எல்எம்க்கு இருக்கிறனால தான் நம்ம வந்து வி ஆர் வரிட், இட் மே ரீப்ளேஸ் ஹியூமன்ஸா. எம்எல்ல பல வருஷமா இருக்கு. 1990s ஹெச்எஃப்டி வந்துருச்சு. சிட்டடெல் ஆர் சிட்டி பேங்க், எவ்ரிவன் வேர் டூயிங் ட்ரேடிங். அப்போ none of them were worried that ML machine learning will replace the humans. But today AI LLM has that general reasoning capability which any human has, and that is why there is a certain worry about that. Anyways, yeah. Super question. Yeah, chocolate, yes. எல்லா சாக்லேட் நீங்களே எடுத்துட்டு முடியாது. You have to give it to them.
So you said you upload checks into the model, right?
I upload
Checks in your company.
checks, yeah.
So
Images of checks, scanned images of checks, basically JPG, PNG images.
So how confidential is that?
How confidential is that? Yeah. So as I said, when we download open source LLMs, we have the power of LLM in our server. So it is super confidential. If you use the API of ChatGPT, Gemini, again they say we don't copy your data. Okay, again that's a little fishy, because there are so many whistleblowers about the confidential data. But when you use open source LLMs, wherein when you go to these websites like Hugging Face or Olama, you can download the LLM and of course run them using GPUs. So there is so you have to do a cost calculation when you should use open source LLMs and when you should use proprietary LLMs. If your usage cost is so high that even if you buy a very big machine, it is cheap, then you have to go for an open source, because open source the cost is only fixed cost. So so in checks and in check processing, all those things, we use open source LLMs, wherein the LLM is downloaded in the bank server, so that the data doesn't go anywhere else. So it is very confidential in that way. Yeah, please give. So next question, so 8 more to go. It doesn't have to be really intellectual like these first 2 questions. You may even ask, மறுபடியும், அதாவது 7th standard வந்து I went to an excursion. அப்போ எக்ஸ்கர்ஷன் போச்சு, அப்போ தான் பாகுபலி 1 was released, and this driver happened to find a pirated version, crack version of Bahubali 1 movie just about 3-4 days later. And when you're going excursion, they played this movie in the school bus. Of course, school bus is so noisy that you can't hear anything, so only we were able to look at the movie. And back Lano and friends, we were watching the movie, and Of course, we are not able to hear the dialogues. One of my friends who already watched the movie was explaining to me, and Kadasi I asked, Amarendra Bahubaliyu, Mahendra Bahubaliyu, Anna Thambiyanu. So it is like asking whether Dasharatha and Rama are brothers, right? So and the there shouldn't be any communication gap. So please go ask even the simplest questions, like how silly question which I asked. Please.
Hello. Excuse me.
Yes.
How big should be the GPU?
That is based on the LLM. So we have different types of LLMs, especially for the use case. So if you're going to process images, then we need really, really powerful images. But if you're going to process text, for example, I'm working on this project for Mahapariva, wherein we are digitizing Mahapariva's books, and then wherever the devotees ask any questions about the works of Mahapariva, it immediately reads the text data and gives a text output. So for that, we don't need a really powerful LLM. But for images and videos and other agentic AI applications, wherein we use different LLMs for different use cases, and then link them together, for all those things, we need to have a pretty powerful GPU.
Powerful means?
Powerful means for using, we for cloning the voice for an audio LLM, we used A100, and also we use H100, which is about 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs. And so it's about 25 lakhs of fixed cost. And of course, there are other costs. You have to buy other cooling machines. So probably in about 30-40 lakhs, we can run decent, powerful LLM. Yeah. So you were having a question.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Please.
Hi, I'm Franklin.
Oh, hi, Franklin.
I'm Franklin from 3rd BCA. My question is, nowadays prompt injection and many security issues causing AI model to poison the data. So how you able to manage the security, and how you increase the security, and how you put a barrier on it?
Amazing question. I was actually slightly worried why you weren't asking any questions during the session, but I'm really, really happy at the quality of questions all of you are asking. This is an amazing question. This, the same problem we faced while creating an LLM for Mahapariva. As I told Maharaj, we are working on a project to digitize the works of Mahapariva and create a website at www.mahapariva.ai. Similar to ChatGPT, people can go and ask questions. The issue which we faced was the AI was answering any question. If it asks questions about the input text, right? Mahapariva wrote about Vedas and other things. So, it is going and answering the questions with respect to those books. But if we ask questions about politics or actresses, actors, it was still answering. So even though we gave strict instructions, don't answer to irrelevant questions, similar to what he said. So prompt injection, let me explain what prompt injection is. Prompt injection is basically like a very skilled detective asking series of questions to the suspect, slowly asking multiple levels of questions and making him accept the crime. So even though if you ask straight away, if you ask a question, who's Rajinikanth, my LLM would say I can't answer. But if you slowly answer, okay, Mahapariva, Rajinikanth did a movie about another sage, and again if you go through that, so that is prompt injection, basically asking series of questions. So to solve that, we use a technology called as agentic AI. So agentic AI is where we use different LLMs for different use cases. So my first agent will take the input of the user. So answering a question, my first LLM will take the input of the user, retrieve the answer. Suppose the user is able to, ask series of questions and make my LLM answer irrelevant stuff. I have another LLM waiting in the gates before giving the output. So all it does is it checks the output of the LLM and checks the input train data, whether it is related or not. Then it will immediately it will reject. So in order to stop prompt injection, right? So we need to have agentic AI applications. So it's a brilliant question and great.
It may be a general question, but
Yeah, please.
Which programming language is used to create an AI?
Wow. So we can use any programming language, but the community of Python developers is so huge that normally I would say as a beginner, it is best if you start programming Python. So today, that is what I'll be doing. I'll be creating an application end to end, an AI chatbot from scratch to end, wherein we'll be developing that in Python. you can create that. You can create an application in almost any language, right? You can create in Dart, Flutter. Flutter is a multi-platform application wherein you develop once. It is compatible with web application, EXE, Android, APK, and all those things. So the application can be developed with anything, because the AI model is not in your code. It is there sitting somewhere in Atlanta in the servers of ChatGPT or Gemini. You just use an API key, which is an alphanumeric number. So API key, and then I will just explain it. So let us say in a restaurant, the visitors are all that is the input UI, and then the kitchen is the backend. The servers are the API, right? So the API can be integrated with almost anything. That's just an alphanumeric number. So we can program with any language, but I would suggest to start with Python. Yes, of course. So any questions on the back? Yeah. So all of you have asked amazing questions, which I had to think for some time and answer. And I'm really proud of all of you. I will now call my co-founder come father for giving a very short speech on starting an AI company, right? So all of you will be like, okay, we have learned AI. You can. It's AI. Learning AI is not like learning to be a doctor. You have to spend a couple of years. You can learn the LLM, the do's and don'ts in about a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And then how do you start your company? So a short speech on entrepreneurship will be now delivered by my co-founder come father S. Lakshmanan. Thank you.